Nethros.
Nethros.
Oh.
And we're in.
You know what?
Ah.
I've decided that it doesn't matter. I'm sticking with what I wrote down anyways.
Very well.
Okay.
Go for it.
We're playing. Everybody want to play some D&D today?
I suppose.
I'm just going to listen.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Okay. Well, our adventurers have finished a long voyage on the Underark. They were out there for a long time on the open ocean, island hopping, making their way to a wonderful new continent. So this will be information. I essentially imagine Narvos giving this information on the deck, because this would be essentially information that he would have. It's just a lot of stuff I've written down, and I'm just going to read it myself to make sure that it's all said the correct way. But that way everybody has the information on these lands. So this new continent is split into three territories, essentially. There's the Aristocracy of Solnar, which is where you guys are headed, which is focused primarily in the city of Solnar. About 99% of the population lives there. The border that is placed is just the edge of the Stormlands, which is this perpetual storm that lives in the center of the continent, thought to be done by mages in eons past in an attempt to defend from what is now known as the Barony of Flesh, which is on the far side of the continent, has its own port town called Fleshburg.
The Brony Flesh.
The Brony Flesh.
What do you call someone who lives in Fleshburg?
A fleshy. So not a lot is known about the Barony of Flesh due to its demonic nature. It doesn't have sort of at least since the last time Narvos was there, it doesn't have sort of a central government. It has barons that control different areas, the largest being Fleshburg. Oftentimes there is betrayal and consuming of their enemies. There's a constant sort of upheaval of power in the Barony of Flesh. But you guys aren't on that side of the continent. That's literally thousands of miles away from where you guys will be landing in the city of Solnar. So the sort of like picture you guys have as you pull into the docks of the city of Solnar is a large wall, an imposing wall with many sort of like places for arrows and mages, archers and mages, to defend the docks. You see war machines line the wall. For those of you who have watched Attack on Titan, what?
Like Don Cheadle, War Machine?
Yes, just hundreds of him.
Don Cheadle's up and down the wall.
For those of you who have seen Attack on Titan, think like the walls in that, where there's just like about like 20 meters, there's a cannon just lining the walls. The docks stand on the outside of the wall, and it seems to be a bit of a bustling port. Trade seems to be common. Lots of people. This city has a population of a little over 250,000 people.
Sheesh.
To keep everybody safe from the monsters of the Stormlands and demon raids from the Barony. Most individuals in the aristocracy live in the city of Solnar. Right. So this is the map. Has everybody gotten a good look at this? I can pull this back up at any time. I can hand you guys a photo of it later on. I got one of those. It just doesn't have the lines. I made those in Tabletop Simulator.
Can you point out exactly where we landed one more time?
You know what? I'm gonna drop it in game room just for everybody to be happy.
Right here. This western coastline is where you guys are landing.
All right. Can you just change that to our land because we're taking over this bitch.
Taking it. This is, by the way, where Narvos was raised and where he ran away from.
Welcome home.
This would be Narvos's home.
Good to be back.
Right. Let me switch to the map of Solnar.
Wow, this is fucking great. I love this.
This is, I don't know if that was sarcasm.
No.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
I love maps.
Are those like districts?
Yes. So I've got a legend over here. I debated on having the districts and the thing, and I thought this looked better.
This looks great.
So we've got what you guys can see right here. These little lines right here are the docks. So this would be where the Underarch is pulling in.
There's only 12 spots? Or less than 12?
There's plenty more. There's plenty more. It's,
right,
it's
cool.
scale. Yeah,
Scale.
Yeah, scale. Because remember, this entire place houses 250,000 plus people.
Right, yeah. It should be pretty huge, yeah.
So this is the docking district, the docks district. Right here in this sort of like open space area, sort of, is the trade ward, where there is a sort of central open market area with a bunch of buildings and tents and, mercantile area. This over here, all this sort of like lighter area is the housing district. That's where the peasantry and the sort of, the working class live. Up here is the upper ward, and this is where lesser noble houses live.
Those
and
backwards on the thing.
Yeah, the keys backwards.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's all right.
More people live here, so this is where the housing district
that totally
is.
makes sense. Yeah.
This is where the noble district is. I will fix that for a later time. This is the Grand Court. This is, while it is about the same size as the housing district, this is where the 5 great houses that run the city of Solnar live, and that give it the name, the Aristocracy of Solnar. And then the 6th is the military ward, where the martial school is, and where, the head of the military makes plans and does their job. Right.
Is it like a bunch of different races?
It is, for the most part, just like Narvos. They are, what are they called, Narvos? What are you called?
Aasimar.
A good majority, probably about 75% are Aasimar of various races. So there's like elf Aasimar and dwarf Aasimar and orc Aasimar. So it looks like a very diverse place with sort of angel blood coursing through everyone, or divine
like
blood.
A lighter color than normal.
Yeah, everybody's got like golden eyes.
They're shiny.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Everyone here's a shiny version of themselves. Whenever you start a conversation, little sparkles fly off them. So, right. The city of Solnar is run by an aristocracy of noble families. 5 ruling families sit and reside in the Grand Court district, and each fields their military mines to the military district. The Grand Court is where the magical school resides, while the military district houses the martial school. There have been many attempts by lesser houses to unseat one of the 5. None have ever succeeded. This has led to a stagnation in leadership and a malaise in the constant war, where the 5 families are willing to accept a status quo. This would be essentially one of the main reasons Narvos left, was a stagnation and a constant okay with the war that rages outside their walls, and it keeps the ruling 5 in power due to a fear of the other coming in. The 5 families, the 5 grand families, are the House of Solnar, the first house. The strongest standing army of the 5 houses is the only one whose leader has never perished. Presumed to be immortal and to have descended from the higher planes themselves, Solnar founded this city millennia ago. The patriarch is only seen in times of dire need for the city. Otherwise, the daily routine is handled by his descendants. Solnar technically is the head of the magical school, but his eldest daughter, Elariel, sees to it most days. The House of Carlel, the second house. The second house controls the dock district and is rich and powerful because of it. The only house with any naval presence, as they control the docks and do not allow any other house to build a ship on their docks. Carlel is on their 4th generation of leadership, as divine beings often live for many centuries. Naval skirmishes with the demons of the barony have taken the lives of the previous 3, and the House Carlel holds a constant bounty on any demon tributes brought to their doors. The House of Narvos, the third house. The third house controls the trade district and works closely with House Carlel. Rich due to the tithes any merchant must pay to them, they technically rent out the buildings and tents of the trade district to the highest bidder. Rumor has it that they used to control the criminal organization of the city until recently. Their heir disappeared many years ago, thought to have died on an excursion to the Stormlands or to have defected to the barony. Anyone caught spreading the latter rumor disappears. The House of Duma, the 4th house. The 4th house is the house of law and order, and recruits and fields the city guard. Every head of the martial school has been from House Duma. A militant house, most of its members are veterans of battles with the barony and excursions into the Stormlands. No expedition can venture forth without the okay of this house. Current head of the martial school is Aster, second in line for the head of Duma. The House of Ophiel, the 5th house. The 5th house controls the housing district and focuses on charity and the well-being of the. The 5th house controls the housing district and focuses on charity and the well-being of the over 250,000 population of Solnar. The poorest of the houses, most members of the house live with the rest of the population, while the matriarch Ophiel lives in the smallest of residences, in the grand court to keep up appearances. The people love Ophiel, and whenever an issue arises between the people and the other great houses, Ophiel is the mediator and spokesman for the masses. So that's the aristocracy and the sort of political climate of the world you guys are docking into right now.
Narvos told us this?
To any varying degree, but like that is stuff you can literally find out because the people aren't like against outsiders. So like anybody can tell you this on the docks. This is like information that is just entrenched in the society.
And should we tell our imp crew to stay below deck?
There's a difference between devils and demons.
Okay.
1.
Okay, good.
And 2, they were already shapeshifters.
Okay, yeah.
If I remember correctly, I made them shapeshifters.
Yeah.
You guys had this problem last time too. So yeah. The devils are while probably untrusted, are not demons. So aren't like the enemy of Solnar.
So Narvos.
Hmm.
Your name. It
Yes.
was your name. Was one of the names.
That is correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of haven't bothered to change it since I really didn't need to worry about it.
In this like lost air, should we worry about that?
I don't think so.
All right. I just
Just to
nod and
make sure-
agree. All right.
Just to make sure, you're not him, are you?
I mean, what if I was?
That would make things more complicated.
Are you recognizable?
All without his hair.
Yeah, I mean, my hair's missing. This tattoo is new. I mean, probably not the best idea. Just you can call me a different name. I mean, Narvos is again referring to the house, so running around just calling me that would be a little bit confusing and probably maybe give something away.
You'd think that the biggest issue would be knocking on the going to the Grand Court. Much like many, Muhammad's and Jesus's in the world, there is probably 100 or more Narvoses running around Solnar.
Gotcha.
Um,
Well, I've called you Starboy a lot already, so
You call me whatever you want.
Starboy it is.
Oh, works for me.
So what would you guys like to do with this ship? You guys land, your imp crew, whether they are invisible or shapeshifted, all come up to you and are like, yeah, we could just dip if our contract's up. What do you want to do?
If you think you can make it through the city to your destination safely.
I mean, we just sort of like turn to ash and end up back to with our guy. I can't remember his name, but the guy you signed a contract with. Just a reminder. Here's the box that you need to deliver to the crime syndicate.
Right.
Hmm.
I remember all this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You guys signed a whole contract.
We would make a delivery in exchange for your service in crewing the boat here. Indeed.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's time for us to fulfill our part of the contract.
Yeah, we'll tie the boat off. You should probably talk to the dock master so that they don't or confine your ship or take it, claim it as a pirate vessel. But be safe out there.
Yes. You would expect that we would be speaking with the harbor master.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not pirates like where we come from. You guys are upstanding citizens.
Of course we are.
Except for that weird pallid fellow. He spent his whole life on the island. Don't let him talk to the harbor master. They point to what's your name? Yeah, Balantar. Yeah. The pallid fellow over there. Yeah, that one.
What does this mean,
Yeah.
pallid?
Isn't he like a yellow skin? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
pale.
like pale. Oh.
Yeah.
Never heard this word before.
Well, if you need anything else, where you're headed, that crime syndicate, recently in like the past year or so was taken over by our boss's boss. So should be able to just make more deals with him. They finger guns, and then your whole ship is covered in like sulfur and ash.
Mm.
Finger guns explode.
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, those were remarkably eloquent and expositional fellas there.
Hey, Gurk, would you mind cleaning the...
Yeah, I got long arms for it, so
Ooh.
let's start sweeping the ship.
You and the cat can take care of the ship while we're gone, yeah?
Yeah, and what was Charlie's character's name?
Oh, yeah.
He also, Mr.
I forget his name as well, but yeah.
A very, very well-spoken orc also starts working the ship. He's like, I'm good with ships. I was a pirate once. I was not. He like looks around to unwatching. Never once a pirate. I'll be swabbing the deck now.
They said that the proper term is privateer.
Yeah.
Sailors of fortune.
Eddie knows the term privateer. It's what everybody off the Elysian coast calls themselves.
Cheers, yeah, of course. Decent line of work. Very bloody.
Very, very bloody. William signs the checks himself. Right. Okay. You all disembark from the Underark, leaving it in the capable hands of your three party members that remain on board the ship. You see, it's a bustling dock, probably a couple hundred people running from place to place, warehouse to warehouse. Some ships are being filled. There's probably about another half dozen ships ranging from, you see one of them does seem to be like an ironclad ship with arcane cannons mounted on it, sort of like a Civil War era ironclad that is being stocked with munitions. A couple other more like traditional two-sail brigantines that look to be more mercantile vessels. One of them does seem to be an Elysian merchant ship. The skeleton crew remains on board while a single human seems to be talking to a Leaf, golden-haired, golden-tattooed elf who is holding a clipboard and very obviously is the harbor master of this dock. What would you guys like to do?
Well, we have a couple options. Obviously, we're going to talk to. I'll go talk with the harbor master, make sure that we can moor here for a bit. Then we can decide where we're going to go.
Crime areas shouldn't be hard to find. Look for some thieves' cant. I could find it probably easily.
All right.
Too hard to.
Right. Okay. So do you want to do this at the same time, or are you going to wait to go looking for the thieves' cant, Craig, until after?
I'm going to stay with my captain.
You got it. So it's kind of the whole squad in sort of like pairs slowly moves up. You hear this conversation's dying down as the Elysian captain is just being like, "We'll be sailing out in the next couple of hours. Thank you for everything you've done. It's always a pleasure doing business with the Solnarians. William himself bids you all well in your war. And just remember, if you ever need help in military means, he's just a message away." And the harbor master's like, yes, we've made sure that that message has made it to the Grand Council. Be on your way now. I have some business to attend to, as he kind of locks eyes with this very eclectic band of adventurers that's making it up. The Elysian captain, Craig, you spot a sort of like glint of recognition as he like wafts his eyes over your crew. And he goes, yes, I'll be taking my leave. And he heads back to his ship. Starts barking orders. Men keep moving the stuff, the parcels that they're bringing on board ship. The elf turns to Conversion. You're wearing like a feathered cap or something. Do you have something that marks you as the captain, or are you just walking in the front, so therefore you're the captain?
I'll be walking in the front.
Awesome. But he turns to you, but sort of speaks to the whole lot of you, and he goes, well, a band of adventurers. Usually when folks like you appear, they're trying to raid our docks, but you sailed in nice and simple, and it does look like much of your crew has vanished. Are you trying to get some more crew to sail your ship, or...
Oh, that will be one of several things that we'll be looking to resolve while we're staying here in the harbor.
Wonderful.
But I assume there's a mooring fee.
Yes. To keep your ship here indefinitely, we will take 50 gold pieces, and I will be keeping track of how long your ship is moored, and a fee of a gold per week will be placed upon you as time goes on.
I handed him 52 gold pieces.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. I am Safariel Carlel. I currently am the dock master. I am second in line for the seat of House Carlel. If you never return, if you should never come and reclaim it after a year without speaking to me, I never see any of your faces again, we will claim the ship in the name of House Carlel. I hope that is acceptable to you.
I'm surprised that you would wait such a long period.
Well, a year passes by in the blink of an eye for folks like us. So, for mortals like you, it seems like plenty of time to get your affairs in order and get back to your possessions, if that is what you so choose.
Kind of. Let me actually see if I. Yeah, Conversion kind of twitches his eye a little bit at the whole like blink of an eye comment, like as he thinks to himself, 150 years old.
This and the dude who's talking, you have probably like at 150 years, you're probably starting to get some lines, some wrinkles. This dude is like absolutely flawless. Golden hair, golden eyes, golden tattoos, not a wrinkle on him. Narvos, you are aware of who this guy is. Second in line to the House of Carlisle. He's probably 500 plus years old. The especially the grand houses, you all can live almost indefinitely, like classic elf lore of like, if you don't die in battle, you're fine. There have been known to be some plagues and diseases that the barony has unleashed. But those are rare and like hundreds, if not thousands of years in between those sorts of poxes. Right. He turns to you, is there anything else I can help you with? Pockets the gold that Craig gave him.
Well, I suppose at some point we'll have to inquire with you as to where one might find a suitable crew.
You could talk to me. I am much more in the line of martial crews. House Ophiel, though, is much better at finding those who need jobs and are willing to make it their careers and their lives on a boat, if that is what you're searching for. Either way, just let me know.
Well, thank you for the advice, and perhaps I will seek them out in a few days. And once we have settled for a couple of nights after sailing.
Wonderful. The finest inns in town you can find at the border of the Grand Court and the Trading District, or the Trading District. My personal favorite is the Bildrat's Run, which you can find on this side of the Trade District. They do some fine mead.
That sounds fantastic. We'll look at the others if there's any others.
On the for if you are looking for like silk sheets and maybe a few high-end courtesans towards the Grand Court there for like visiting dignitaries oftentimes will stay there. You can find the what's a good name for that? The Peppermint Escapade. That's what we're going to call it. A Peppermint Escapade. And with that, I'm going to continue my my job. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Saunters down the docks. So there's a sort of like low end inn and a high end inn, whichever you guys want to go to. You turn to enter the city. The walls stand probably like 50 plus meters high. There is a massive portcullis that looks like it's being held up by weights that can be cut in an instant to drop the portcullis. Stands open currently as there is no threat on the horizon. You guys can turn and look at the ocean. It's like, you guys have been out on sea for a while. Unnervingly flat ocean surrounding Solnar that, like, for some reason, most likely magically, they've managed to tamp down waves so that they have a fantastic line of sight surrounding their city. You guys come into the main city. You guys do notice that there are plenty of city guards around. They most of them wear either leathers or plates. Not a lot of cloth. Doesn't seem like that the guard deals in magic in the sort of way William does, at least, with like cloth-born archmages. The plate-wearing guards it's silver and gold plate. The leather also has sort of like, it's darkish brown leather, but with silver and gold stitchings, so that they are marked as guardsmen themselves. They seem to be wearing, the leather-born ones seem to be wearing longbows. So it seems like it's a mixture of rangers and fighters that are taking over the guards. Craig, can I get a investigation check for you, looking for some thieves' cant?
Yeah.
For the rest of you, this city is what you would consider a sprawling metropolis. Probably the only ones who have seen any city even close to this would be Craig and maybe Eddie. Convergent possibly. The Underdark cities were pretty large and sprawling, but never this many people in the Underdark. The main capital of what was the Rumagarian kingdom probably had like 100,000 citizens. So like, you understand scale, but like the condensed, packed nature of people pushing through is insane in this city. There is so much noise that for many of you, it feels like you need to yell at your comrade who's only a couple feet away from you.
Damn. My investigation sucks.
Okay.
I rolled a 6, but my passive insight, perception, and survival are all 20.
Okay.
So,
You don't see any sort of like obvious indicators of a hidey hole or
right.
a thieves' place.
Maybe we're in the wrong area.
You guys leave the dock district and enter the trade district. The hawking of wares is called out at you from every corner. Fish and jewels and weaponry and a few noticeable magic shops as well.
Valentine goes into the first magic shop he sees.
Aye. You guys watch as your pale fellow just enters this magic tent.
He's like drooling, enamored.
I'm going with him. Eddie's going too.
The trade district, just so you guys have a feel of what this is, there's a central fountain, which looks to be a like decanter of endless water turned into a fountain, with golden flecks tossed into it. You see a bunch of children playing in the water, a few like loving teenagers tossing in coins and giving themselves kisses. In concentric rings, making rows, are tents. There's probably about 3 rows of tents that do circles around the fountain. And then there are larger buildings, probably about 3-story buildings that make the square. And those are all also a mixture of restaurants, inns, a bank, and the sort of high-end stores and merchants do their business there. So you go into the first tent that you see that's filled with magic, and there's a young, he's a dwarf with sort of silver eyes and silver streaks in his hair. Not silver like in age, but more like a metalled glint to his stuff. In his tent, there are a bunch of glittering jewels, a bunch of like wands in cases, and there are behind his little stool that he's sitting on are about half a dozen battle axes and 1 hammer that he has.
Are you wizard?
No, not a wizard, me. I get these goods from trading trades. I'm good with trading. You got something to trade, boy?
He just crosses his arms and looks down and stops talking.
A mute now, huh? Well, I got something that could fix that. And he scrambles to the side and opens the wand case. Pulls out a wand. Flicks it at you.
Well, I clear my
think
throat
I-
very loudly from outside the tent watching this happen.
I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Uh, 6.
You go from like pouting and crossing your arms. You still keep crossing your arms, but you feel this wonderful smile cross your face. And you can't stop beaming. And the dwarf is just howling in laughter at you. Like doubling over. You grew up on a pirate island, so I don't know how bad your teeth are to the scurvy.
Yeah.
So
It looks weird because he doesn't really smile, so it almost looks like skeletal or unnatural because he's got the yeah.
It's got that weird Joker, the sort of like dragged Joker smile. But yeah, he uses a wand of smiles on you. And he just laughs it up, laughs it. Well, I'll give you that one for free, boy. But hey, you don't got anything to trade. Maybe you best move along. See your friends out there, maybe. And he kind of like yells out to you, Craig. Maybe you got something you want to trade?
I personally don't know, but my friends might. You guys well know what I have in my bag, so whatever you need to do with it, feel free. I don't need anything.
And he asks if this guy has any like magic scrolls for children.
Why? Why do you want that? No. No. I got
is very much what you're looking for. He just
He wants he wants a scroll though. He wants to teach his parrot a spell.
Why not the wand of smiles?
I got no scrolls, none whatsoever. That large building to the like southwest, the one that's kind of like lavender and purplish. That's the like high end magic shop, the magic curio shop. I know they sell scrolls. There might be some other merchant tent that does scrolls, but I'm more of a trader of magical knickknacks and baubles, and I've got these weapons that familial heirlooms of different families.
Nah,
all right.
boy, not Starboy.
Yes,
You have those books.
I do.
The thought.
Let me take a look here. Yeah, I could. I have some stuff I'd be willing to trade. A few.
A trade. We've got. I've got all of these wands, and I've got these axes and this hammer. I've got a few stones, a few rocks. If you whisper into them, you can throw them, and then they will repeat that phrase over and over again. Yeah, I mean, you can tell like this guy's a tent merchant. He's not like got
not the high end stuff.
He's got common items, and possibly one of those weapons might be a rare or very rare magic item. That's who you're dealing with right now.
Let's see. We'll take a look around. I'll talk to my acquaintances here, and we'll get back to you. Let us know.
Wonderful. And he sits back and he stuffs something into his lip and just starts chewing. Back to what he was doing. Hawks at some people that are past you. Eddie, you do see that there are at least 2 tents that are hawking animal wares or animals themselves.
I'm gonna go check those out.
Yeah, I figured you would. What else is there? There's several food tents that are a mixture. There's plenty of fish. There's fruit. There's a pastry tent. There's a smoked meat tent. What else is there? There is just
Conversion, we'll be looking for like a mushroom stew or mushroom cooking place.
That can be found. It seems that the smoked meat place next to it, there is a mushroom place, and they do a sort of like, they work together to make sure they keep their spot. So oftentimes there's like mixed goods over there. There is a non-magical weaponry shop and non-magical armory shop for just, put a sword in the mass's hands. If somebody wants to get themselves a leather armor, there's a place to get it. Yeah. So for the animal shop, Eddie, you go up and it's a menagerie. It's a small little menagerie. There's a bunch of like small cats, small dogs, a couple cages filled with birds. And then next to it is like almost an animal haberdashery, as there seems to be a culture of dressing up your animals in Solnar. So like little cat suits and little bow ties and hats for the dogs, and several like shirts and other such things for birds. Maybe little shoes for birds.
Mm-hmm. Little monocle.
Little monocles, yeah.
I wanna ask both of the shopkeepers this. I'll start at the haberdashery.
Okay.
I tell them I'm looking for some sort of. I'm an adventurer, you see, and I have this wonderful parrot named Eddie. But in my line of work, sometimes there's a random fireball going off, and I'm looking for something to protect Eddie from that.
Dasher smiles and goes, "Yes, I know exactly what to do for you." And you hear him go into a chest, and like this small, it's a gnome, an Asimar gnome. So he literally, you see his little legs start kicking up as he puts pretty much his entire body in it, and you can surmise that this chest is like a bag of holding or an endless chest where he's just sort of like, he's digging way farther down than the ground. And then he pulls up what can only be described as a parrot plate suit.
Parrot plate suit. All right.
So it's literally, imagine a suit of plate mail fitted for a bird about the size of a macaw.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, this probably would still roast your bird, but it would keep it intact and make it so it could be revived, and would also raise its armor so that it would be harder to hit it.
That sounds wonderful. And I assume this thing has some slight enchantment on it that will still allow the bird to fly. It's not
Yes,
way down
it does.
anything.
Yes, indeed. Yes. My own invention, actually. It's a subtle flight spell itself, but I can't seem to get it onto larger plate mails, which is why I stick to the animal clothing.
Genius, man. Genius is what you are.
Oh,
So
he like pushes his hair to the side of his face, like, "Oh, thank you."
how much will this wonderful piece of equipment cost me?
Oh, I could part with it for 150 gold.
All right, that sounds very doable to me.
Oh, wonderful. The exchange occurs.
All right, and I'm gonna fit this onto to Eddie to keep him all safe. Thank you very much, and I leave the store.
Wonderful. Have a great day. Right. Okay. So there's that.
If we're gonna be, I don't know if we're all staying together, but I'm looking for just kind of like a general weapons shop. Before I do that, if anyone wants some daggers, a crossbow, or a short sword, all non-magical common, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be selling them.
No,
I think they were handed to you because nobody wanted them.
I'm going with you there.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, if we're going to split up, okay. Then Conversion, if you guys are splitting up in your own thing, I'm going to you'll just hear kind of in your head, can you hear me now? We have for the next 7 minutes, we'll be able to communicate telepathically.
All right.
Okay.
Convergent will stick with probably with you and Craig.
Never mind, then I'll do someone who is not in our group.
I think just because I am bad at multitasking, I think we're just moving as a unit to every
Very
base.
well.
That, like, you know, whoever goes into the shop, everybody's sort of like arms crossed, standing outside the shop, staring everybody else down, like, try something.
Any passerby just like sort of part of some like crime syndicate.
Then we hit the food shops and just like real food.
Yeah.
So a non-magical weapon shop, easy enough to find. There's probably like 3 or 4 of them. You come across the first tent. You go in, and there is a Aasimar orc in there sharpening a greatsword. You know, so, what can I do for you?
There. I'm just wanting to get some weaponry off my hands. Been carrying around for a while.
Looking to sell, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Toss it on my table, and he puts the greatsword up onto the wall. You look around, and it seems like his tent is a magical tent, where it's sort of like bigger on the inside. I think like the Weasley tent. And on the inside, there seems to be like probably a solid 50 armaments of various qualities. I'm thinking kind of like Skyrim level weaponry, where like you see like some like bronze and some glass and some obsidian and some steel, and he just seems to have a large assortment of weapons and weapon materials.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'll throw a dagger, a short sword, and a crossbow up on the table.
Seen some wear and tear in its days, but nothing I can't fix. That crossbow, I don't really deal with them. You might find a boyer down the road. There's a handful of them. This dagger and this short sword, I can take this off your hand. I'll give you 13 gold for it.
Works for me.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Do you have grappling hooks?
Grappling hooks aren't really my thing. More of a general shop type thing.
Yes, I figured maybe working with steel, you would have that, and maybe a portable ram.
Portable ram? I don't have. I have a real ram, both the animal kind and just a ram. And he kind of goes into the back of his tent a little bit, and you hear a dragging sound, and it's literally like a 13, 15 foot long battering ram.
How much would that be?
Oh, I'd part with this. I got it for a steal from a battlefield. You see, like, there's still like blood crusted on it. I'd part ways with, just a little bit sentimental. I'd part ways with this for 25 gold.
Convergent, you think we need a real ram? This is for the future. This isn't anything we're planning on doing, of course.
We will have plenty of room for it, but I'm not sure how we can carry it through the city right now.
Yes. Maybe we come back for it before we leave.
Nobody's ever asked about it, so I doubt it'll be gone.
All right.
Like, pushes it back to where it was.
Looking at the shopkeep, the tent keeper, or whatever. And
yeah.
When does the trade district shut down?
Never. 24/7.
Okay.
If I need to sleep, I usually have one of my friends come take over the shop for a couple hours. But everybody needs something all times a day. You'd be surprised how many people actually come to buy weapons in the dead of night. Some of the tents might be closed, just depending on who they are. But if they stay closed for too long, the house. The House of Narvos would very quickly reclaim the tent and sell it to the highest bidder.
Well, of course, you need to have goods available for a marketplace to function.
Yeah, every day at noon, a man does his rounds. The heir to House Narvos, Narvos the Sixth, he collects the tithes for the day.
Very well.
Well, that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Really, thank you.
And I believe the last thing anybody asked for was food, real food. So Conversion very quickly follows the smell of cooking mushrooms to a purplish tent and finds a good mushroom stew for like 3 silver pieces.
Excellent.
Pretty much you guys can find, like, to a degree, any food you want. Like real good, like prepped in front of you food. It's a great seafood place. So like there's plenty of like shellfish and normal fish being served, both cooked and raw. There seems to be plenty of poultry and pork. Not a lot of beef. Not a lot of beef being sold.
They need a lot of land.
Yeah.
Mm.
Narvos in particular is aware that outside the city walls, less than 1% of the aristocracy's population lives outside the city's walls, due to the Stormlands and the barony.
Tell the guys I'll catch up to, and pull out a drow scimitar and see. This is a drow made. I don't know if you've dealt with drow much, but it's a pretty good sword. I'd rather have a rapier.
And would you like just a flat trade?
If you could do that, that'd be great.
Awesome possum. Boop, boop.
Thank you very much.
Eddie also wants.
Oh, sorry.
Eddie also wants to find a kind of a chain weapon.
Okay.
Like improvised. Think a whip, but it's a chain. Maybe some spikes on it.
So Castlevania.
Oh yeah, you want the
Castlevania? Not super Castlevania. This is more into Eddie's kind of lock people down. Kind of.
Like a heavy chain.
Well, then you're probably actually going to need to find some sort of weaponsmith. This orc can like modify weapons as is, but he can't sort of build weapons in his tent.
So there might be a real blacksmith somewhere. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody's got to make all of this stuff. You could ask him. You could ask him where he gets all of his stuff.
Yeah, so Eddie's going to go up to him and he's going to say, so I'm looking for kind of a customized, original design. Where could I find a blacksmith? Someone who can make something like this?
Well, the finest blacksmiths and armorers in the city are in the military district and are not that they don't take custom orders, but usually they take them from one of the noble houses. Most of my stuff I've gotten from adventurers like yourselves. Usually it's from their fallen comrades, and they need to gain a gold after their friends fall. I myself did my training in the military district. I am a man at arms. If the city comes under attack, I would be called to arms. But I think the closest you could find is, and he points to the same purple and lavender magic shop. He goes, "There's an Arcane Forge in there, and a very burly orc that runs it. He could probably do it. It'd cost you a pretty penny, but he could probably do it."
All right. Well, thank you very much.
It's worth a check out.
And Clarny. Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
You hear the word Arcane Forge. You have heard of these things. They are much smaller, much more compact, but create more heat. Many of them were built by fire giants themselves. You've never seen one. You'd be very interested, probably, to see an Arcane Forge.
Yes, I am. And I perk up to the others about that as well.
Mhm.
We should pay a visit to that.
That's the same arcane shop that was pointed out by the dwarf tent man previously. Right. So everybody kind of takes a short rest essentially of downtime, finding their own preferred meals around the trade district. Craig, can I get another investigation check from you?
Yeah. I was actually going to ask the guy we were talking to about
I will, with your passive insight, tell you that dude seems very upstanding.
straight and narrow. Yeah, I was going to see. I was going to work my way around it, but cool. Yeah, I like that. All right.
Yeah. With your passive insight, you like thought about asking this guy, and then you were like, I think he would throw me out of his tent.
Yeah. Investigation was 10 this time.
10?
Yeah.
You think that the water fountain is pointing you in a direction, and you follow it for about 5 minutes, and then you decide you were wrong.
Well, I'm not eating anyway. I can't. So they're probably eating while I'm still looking around, you know?
Yeah. So sorry that I gave everybody this fun time, and you're just like, I can't even breathe the air.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's one of Craig's flaws is he hates that he can't eat. Drives him crazy.
But he doesn't want to take down his friends by bothering them.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
there
is one thing Convergent's keeping an eye out for. Pickpockets.
That's a great point. Everybody give me perception checks.
Oh yeah, I got a passive of 20, so I hope that really helps, but I'll roll one.
I think with your passive, you know that you haven't been stolen.
Yeah.
You don't have to roll an active one. But anybody with less than a 15 passive needs to roll.
I got 16.
I mean, I'm at a 15 and I got a 16.
17.
I got a 16 passive.
I rolled a 27 just anyway.
17 or 18.
18. Tim Toothy?
How do you tell your passive?
It is
just
your
like you rolled a
perception
10.
plus 10.
I got 14, so I'm gonna roll.
Oh,
Yep.
my
Perception plus
15
10.
already. So
17.
A few of you can decide whether you were one of them or not. Do kind of swat away some children who try and steal your coin purse. But all of you are cognizant enough to not get your shit stolen.
People are grabbing people's coin purses? Money. Got it.
Just
Okay,
children.
got it.
Yeah. Just children.
Children's coin purses. That's a different story.
Right. So everybody gets their food.
I'll go by the general goods store once I get lost and get 2 grappling hooks and some really good ropes.
All right. Whatever the are those in the PHP?
Yeah.
Just PHP cost them, bud.
Cool.
Craig Ballantar's following you around. He looked at the food and decided he was going to go with you because, pork and all that other stuff, he didn't really know what to do with it. He almost looked disgusted, but just weirded out.
Ballantar's used to long pork on the ocean. Right. Okay. So, anything else before the group coalesces the purple and lavender
Cool
magic bill? Yeah, the cool magic shop. Any just so we have sort of like a cadence to this. Any other sort of tent business or random shopping to be done?
Can I make an insight check on just people around me to try to find a shady motherfucker?
Yeah, sure.
I was going to say, Convergent's going to point out one of the kids at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, you could just. You don't need to do one of those. You could just like grab one of the kids who try and steal something.
There we go. Yeah, I'll grab a kid.
Like, grab a kid by the wrist. Make a dex save to try and grab one of those kids.
Easy enough.
Easy enough. That's a sentence right there.
Going to start a
24.
24. You just grab, a kid. You catch him in the corner of your eye, reaching for your bag of. I think you're one of the guys with the bag of holding, right? Yeah. You see him trying to go
for his bag.
Okay, guys. And you just, like a sniper, grab or a viper. I mean, grab his wrist. You are a sniper.
Yeah. I try to speak in thieves' cant to the kid. Say, where's
Okay.
where falleth down the midnight moon, child?
The kid looks confused at you and tries to wriggle out. And he looks like he's about to just start screaming. What do you do?
Please stop. You tell me. You won't get in any trouble if you tell me where I can find the crime syndicate.
He closes his mouth, squints his eyes at you, and in your wrist, turns his hand over and opens his palm.
What is it?
There's nothing in his palm. He has an empty palm reached out.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I'll give him a gold.
His eyes squint at the single gold coin and back to you.
I'll give him 4.
He kind of scoffs, closes it, puts it in his pocket, and points in the direction. Hold on, in the direction. It's kind of like, I was in Discord. Kind of like over in this direction from the trade ward. So the trade ward is this sort of like big open square right here. And he points over in this direction.
Thank you.
So towards like the poorer housing district.
Gold.
And by the time you say thank you, he's already melded back into the crowd.
4 gold. What that kid wanted, conversion.
Honestly, if you had given him more gold, he would have just brought you to the door. He was a bit hurt by the lack of gold you handed him. But right, everybody's set. Everybody's set with their goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Second.
See.
Who's eating a hard candy?
It's
Yeah,
Casey.
dude.
Sorry, I'm
You're
like
good.
swear that I'm muted because I'm coughing all the time, and then I'm like, oh, not muted.
We're
God.
just listening to a hard candy roll around.
Probably a top
Yeah,
job.
no, I'm trying to be muted because but
Casey's
nope,
got
it's not
the
working.
T1000.
Right, you guys come to this purple and lavender shop, very pretty. On a sign reads "Arcane Minded." Inside is once again a sort of TARDIS effect of bigger on the inside, where on the outside it looks like maybe a 2.5-story building. On the inside, it's multi-leveled, like a grand library, rows upon rows of magical arcane books, scrolls. On the far side, you see a young lady. This woman looks human, taking care of a ledger, and looks up as you all walk in. In the on like the 3rd level by a balcony, you see a monocled, sort of almost classically wizard man with a long gray beard, gray long hair, very Dumbledore or Gandalf-esque. The difference is he has wings, large white feathered wings that are tucked behind his back, and he's wearing like a fine silk vest, a tie. He looks extremely sort of like well-to-do and well done and well dressed, but is a sort of old wizardly angel man. And he just sort of like looks down from the book he's reading as you all walk in, and the woman perks up by the desk and goes, "Hello, can I help you?"
Oh,
Who
yes.
walks in, by the way? Does everybody walk into this place? Do some people stay outside?
I go in.
Yeah,
All right, let's do who stays outside. We'll assume everybody's in unless said otherwise. Cool, everybody's in. Cool. Please continue, Converge.
Oh well, yes. Starboy, you have some books that you might be interested in having them look at.
Yes.
Oh, books. What type of books, my lad?
Let's see. We got, what are they? A lot of them. And they are
22.
23. 23 spell books.
We gave one to somebody.
Never mind 22.
Okay. All of them spell books. May I ask how you came to possess these?
We had a generous donation from a friend that we encountered.
Roll a deception check.
17 plus 9, 26.
38. I need to roll an extra 20 to beat that. I rolled a 10. Oh, well, wonderful. Please lay them out for me, and I will appraise them, and I'll get back to you. Would you like that back in currency or in trade?
I'll look around at everyone. We have preferences. Do you have a preference?
We need gold.
Very well.
We have gold.
Well, we got to pay crew.
True.
I think we'll take the currency.
Wonderful, wonderful. 22 spell books. Did I tell you what was in each spell book?
Did we want to maybe
No.
You know, like wish and like fireballs and other shit.
Generally my question was like, how high of a spell level did I put into those things?
Oh, like seven.
You said
levels.
you would get it to us later.
Cool. And we never opened
We
them.
never
Nobody's
did.
a wizard. Nobody's a wizard. So this is it now. I'm gonna say that probably like a solid 4 of them are from archmages. The rest are lesser wizards.
Did we like kill a dude? I fucking put this guy to sleep. And did we take his spell book?
You did not. You literally left most of that guy's belongings in his tower to rot with him.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful sentiment in my personal opinion.
That poor dude in his tower in the Underdark.
No, he's like a pharaoh in his tomb, full of
He
all
is,
this
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sealed from air, so he is perfectly preserved. What is the monetary worth? Spellbook.
Spellbook 1150.
Well, depends on what you've got in it for spell.
Yeah.
To buy a clean, empty spell book, I think is 500.
500 gold.
I thought that's.
Uh,
I thought it was in the player's handbook. I might be wrong.
I think that's a bit much. I think that's a bit much for the new spellbook, but
I mean, according to what I have on here, I think it's stacking up all of the cost total.
it's 100.
but-
It's 100 base, which does sound good.
Yeah.
Okay.
This cost says 1100 for the 22. According to this thing on here, but
hold on.
yeah, we shall see.
Valentar's awkwardly
D&D
standing as
Beyond
close as
says
possible as he can
50
to the wizard
Yep.
dude.
50 gold per on D&D Beyond, it says.
Cool.
And then it says add 50 per each spell per level of spell.
Yes.
Is what the
I am
D&D
aware, I am
said.
aware of that
Yeah.
one.
It'd be a respectable amount of money regardless.
Yeah. She pulls out. I need to divide that. How much is a platinum per
And
10.
yeah.
10? If I take off a 0. She pulls out a chest with 10,000 platinum pieces. Yeah, so this is what we could do today. we can either hold on to this and you can browse around the shop, or we could just hand this chest to you now, and business is business.
I know some of us had intentions on perusing the goods.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I will hold on to this, and we'll subtract from this value.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed.
Is there somebody here who can imbue something with magic?
Oh, we've got a man who, in the back, take a name out for this man. He's the orc. Give me an orc name, please. We're gonna call him Urag. U-R-A-G. Urag. He's our resident magical armor smith and weaponsmith. He's got an arcane forge in the back. He makes most of our weapons and armors that are enchanted. If it's more of a common item that you're looking for, you might be looking to talk to Ichnath, who is the owner and proprietor of the Arcane Minded. You might have seen him above.
Understood.
Very well.
I'm Cindy, by the way. Nice to meet you all.
It's good
Nice
to meet you. Cindy.
Does anybody know how to do tattoos?
We are curiosity.
Magical tattoos or normal tattoos?
Magic.
Magical tattoos. That isn't really one of our specialities. I'm sorry. There are many normal tattoo shops around the trade district.
Well, can I? And I pull out the exotic inks and like the box, since it came in like nice little box, and I'm like, well, I have ink, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
Isn't that just the paints? Is that what you're talking about? Don't you have Nolser's paints?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that's not exotic tattoo. That's not magic tattoo stuff.
But
it is ink that could be used.
It's literally magical acrylic paint.
Yeah, I feel like that could be like dipped in a needle. And then put
Is it water-based?
For you.
But it makes hold on, Trevor, because this paint makes whatever you draw real, right?
Yeah, dude.
So if they tattooed it with you on your body, then it would just like hop off your skin, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Would it?
I feel like it would.
That is generally, and it can't. I do believe it says you can't like make gems. You can't really make anything of real monetary value. You can't just like draw Scrooge McDuck's, gold bath, and suddenly you're the richest man on earth.
Damn it! That was my second idea.
But if you find enough raw gems, and so currently what you need to get your magical tattoos, and this is Sean talking to you, you need to get enough gems of the right type, and then find a man or woman, anybody that can do magical tattoos. That might be something to ask around for. Maybe go to one of those tattoo shops and see if they know somebody.
Deal.
Oh, the core aspect of it, the magic of it, comes from crushed up gems.
Okay.
So it's like depending on what you want, it's either diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires.
Makes sense.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else? I know we'll get to you at the end, Eddie. We'll deal with your child scrolls at the end.
Okay, sure.
No, he wants to get
the weapon.
a chain.
Yeah,
I
we'll
want the weapon. But if you're offering the scrolls,
yes,
I will
this is
take
the
them.
place to get your child scrolls. So we'll do both the child scroll and the arcane forge at the end. Is there any sort of just like magic stuff anybody's looking for? This is like the place, Arcane Minded. It's the magic shop, the premier magic shop.
What's their selection of divine magic stuff?
They got plenty of divine magic stuff.
Okay.
They do have sun swords. They do have holy avengers.
I will avoid the sun swords.
They're all closed. At least in my world, sun swords are lightsabers essentially. When I play with them.
Yep. But the weapon specifically says it's sunlight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep. Don't want that.
On a little they've got a label machine that they just put out.
Have any what are they called? I just had it. I was looking it up and then I just completely forgot about what I was asking. Vials, Bloodwell vials.
Sounds like dark magic.
Sorcerer thing.
Bloodwell vials. Can't find that. Blood. Well. Look at Bloodwell. Bloodwell vial. Right. These can be ordered for various, but they need to be made for the specific sorcerer.
Mm.
So they don't have any just laying around. Is that I feel breaks the point of them.
Yeah, I mean, would they have some sort of place where I could do that or something like that?
If you so wish, we can certainly get that together for you. Takes a little bit of time in the enchantment. If you'd like it rushed, I could get Ichnath on it. It'd be done within the hour, but we would take probably 1,000 platinum to get that done in a rush.
No worries about the rush. I mean, I'll think about it, but at the moment, that's fine.
We can, of course, do it to its highest potency. That wouldn't just be a normal file. We've done it a few times, usually for the grand houses when their offspring is of sorcerer quality. We don't see many sorcerers in the adventurers and common folks that come through here.
Well, how much would it take? How long would it take without rushing?
Oh, without a rush, it'd take probably about for the highest quality, probably about a week to get the enchantment done right. I myself would be doing it, and we don't do it often, as I said, so I'd probably break a few vials in my attempts. But to get it done well and done right, and make sure that the enchantment holds, about a week.
Okay. I mean, I'll look around. Are we going to be sticking around that long, guys?
My understanding was that we'd be here for a couple of weeks.
I paid the dockman for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We paid the dockman for a year.
No.
The
dockman will take your boat after a year.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it was 1 gold per week, and we gave him 52 gold.
There's an upfront cost of 50.
Upfront 50.
One per week
50.
after. I give him 52.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't want to be taking all the money we're getting, but
what would that be?
Go ahead and start it.
Well, it's his books.
Go ahead and make the preparations as you need.
Okay. We'll
continue for perusing.
I'll take that then.
Wonderful. I'll be subtracting 300 platinum then, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful.
Looking over the goods, do they have? I assume they have wands of the War Mage.
All the way up to the top.
Okay. We'll look at a level 3, a +3 wand of the War Mage. Gotta look them over, and I don't know if there's different types of them. Like a divine focus type of item.
like a wand of the war mage for clerics, essentially. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
The item doesn't really specify.
No, you can. Yeah, it's a divine city. You can easily sort of like theme it, with a golden stone or something. Easily done. A divine focus. With that would be 400 platinum deduced for our highest caliber wand of the war mage.
Okay. Very well.
Right. Okay, so that's anybody else? Anybody else perusing?
Valentar's going to go up to the winged guy, if he can get as close as 6 feet to him.
He's like
And then-
3 stories up, but yeah, you like find a ladder, you climb it, you find a second ladder, you climb it. As you get within that distance, he looks like it's literally Dumbledore. Looks up at you, and as you get closer, his eyes sort of squint.
He waves awkwardly and smiles.
What can I do for you, lad?
How you become a wizard?
Much studying,
Oh,
much learning.
can you help me become a wizard?
I have not done that in many years. A long time since I was a teacher at the magic school. You need a recommendation from one of the great houses to enroll.
Where do I go for that?
You can petition at the Grand Court when they meet. They meet bi-weekly. Usually, to get an audience, you need some member of Solnar society to write you a recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you for your patronage below. It is much appreciated. I cannot wait to read through the spells that you've brought into my store. He goes back to doing whatever he was doing.
Yep, thank you.
Right. Anybody else?
This bow. This bow here with the golden elf faces.
And what bow is that, Craig?
It's the oath bow.
A weird bow. Craig's whole goal just to put line of sight on William. That bow is the only one we have in stock. We got it from an adventurer who finished his adventuring days and was selling off everything he owns to live comfortably in the Grand Court for the rest of his days. I'm sorry to say that will take 1,000 platinum.
Oh, no, never mind then.
It is. I'm sorry. It is the only one we have in stock. We have not yet learned how to
Understandable, right?
Remake it. It's Ulgar's been working usually on his downtime trying to figure out the enchantment, and it eludes him. Elven make, and
Yes.
they were very secretive.
I will see if Ulgar can enchant my bow.
He certainly can. He's got many types of enchantments. He can imbue.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Tim Toothy, what does your heart desire, Tim Toothy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Killing.
He wants for nothing.
Killing people.
Killing people.
What about stuff that makes you better at killing people?
I don't think Tim Toothy needs it.
Yeah, bro. I don't even wear a shirt, man. Like, I got pants
Oh yeah,
and
you
like
could
some
get
metal on my
bracers.
fingers.
Bracers of defense.
Mm.
They cut a bunch of those.
Man, yeah, you got any bracers? I got like 10 gold pieces and like a shit ton of silver in my inventory.
It will cost a bit more than 10 gold pieces, but
Then I'm good, brother.
we can deduct
We
it
have
from
our-
your from your
Bracers.
wonderful. I'll be deducting 100 platinum from it, but here you go, braces of defense.
Oh fuck yeah.
So your
Yeah, I
AC
like
goes
that.
up by your AC goes up by 2, buddy.
Oh hell yeah.
Do they have armor?
Yeah, there is some magical armor. Yeah.
I will look it over to see if there is like plate mail.
There is very few plate mails. There's probably 3 separate plate mails. One of them is an adamantite plate mail. One of them is a dwarven plate mail, like one of those dwarven berserker.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about.
Yep.
And then the other one's a simple +1 plate mail. Nothing too fancy. Just
Okay.
a +1.
What do they? Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to be looking at a suit of armor. Chainmail is fine. It is good, but it is not as protective. So, the plate mail. I'm not necessarily a big fan of adamantine. So the regular plate mail. I'll go with that as well.
Okay.
What do they have in the way of a half plate? Is it kind of the same situation?
Half plate, there's actually only a single magical half plate, and that is another just simple +1 half plate.
Okay. Cool.
What was that dwarven plate? Was that what you got?
No, he didn't get. No, he got
I
just
got
a
the plate.
normal.
We'll look at
+1. There we go. Tell me the type of magical item it is, please. We're gonna call it 200 platinum. Can't find the rarity of it, so I'm deciding it's a rare item.
yeah, as I say, I think plate mail itself is like 1,500, then +1 on top of that. So
Yeah.
We'll call it
Plate mail.
250 then. We'll call it 250 then. Add an extra 1,000 on it.
250.
250. 250. So dwarven plate. You would know it instantly. Clarny is dwarven plate is a +2 to AC. In addition, if an effect moves you against your will along the ground, you can use your reaction to reduce the distance you are moved by up to 10 feet. It's the I'm a dwarf and my center of gravity is lower.
I think I would like to throw that on because that would be very nice for my AC.
Treat yourself.
Right. That is going to be 500 platinum.
I'm cheap. Let's do it.
Sean, I assume you're keeping track of how much.
I am. Yes.
Okay, I was about to ask if someone was keeping track.
I am keeping track. Yes.
So I've got about 2. On about 22.
Barney's going to be the. We're at 8450 right now. 8450 is how much platinum you have remaining.
Okay, remaining. Okay.
Barney's going to be the most dwarf ever.
Yep.
I heard you like some dwarf, so I gave you some dwarf for your dwarf.
Dwarf on
do they
dwarf
have, do they have chainmail shirts?
Yeah.
We'll get a chain shirt +1 and a sword +1 for Velran.
Easily enough done. Altogether, we'll call that 400 platinum.
Okay.
Did we want to do anything for our companions back on the boat?
I had an idea to the I've seen people wear spiked armor before. I know it's not your thing, but with the way Jelly jumps onto people,
Oh yeah, dude,
it's a
totally.
thought.
I love that. I'll just throw Jelly. Yeah, that's cool. You guys want to do it?
Does Jelly want to do it?
Jelly? Is Jelly with us in spirit or in physical presence?
Let me find the armor. There it is.
You might not have it here.
No, they don't, and 2, it's only worn by dwarves. It's another dwarf armor. It's another type of dwarf who specifically would not have built it to goblin standards, to goblin dimensions.
Oh, it's very much not.
Very much not made for goblins. In fact, they go on the other end of the spike.
That's just how it works.
You would probably, if you put a goblin in one of those, every dwarf you saw would fight you on sight. They'd be, that's a grudge. That's a grudge right there, and you're getting a grudging. Right.
But maybe if we get her a belt of dwarven kind.
That's funny. I
Get
think
the
that's
beard, massive goblin beard, and just
I find that
extra
funny.
dwarf.
I'm pretty sure my goblin character does have a belt of dwarven
A
kind.
dwarf of belt and kind.
Yeah, dwarf belt and kind. You just slowly turn into a belt. It's a cursed belt.
Eddie, would you like to talk to this orc with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time we head into the back. Into the back. You guys head back there, and with a tink, a constant tink, a large, probably about like 7 foot tall, dark skinned orc, shirtless, is sweating over a sort of purplish and blue flamed forge. Pulls out a massive fell cleaver from the forge, and begins to, while it is still red hot, carve arcane runes into it. You guys wait patiently, I hope, for him to finish.
Oh yeah.
And to put the blade into the water and place it where it belongs to continue cooling. And he turns and he goes, "Right, what can I do for you?"
Go ahead, Eddie.
All right. Well, I would like a sort of a chain weapon. I use a lot of grappling in my combat style. So I'm looking for a weapon that I can use to hit someone first and foremost, but secondarily, I would like to use this weapon to tie them down after a good thrashing. You know, I'm very much a no kill when I can avoid it kind of fighter.
So, You'd like maybe a morning star, or maybe a longer chain.
Yeah, that sounds like something that could
No,
work
not a
really
morning.
well.
The flail, not
I-
a morning star. There's a difference there. A flail, but with maybe a longer chain.
Yeah, a longer chain. Something, light enough that I could whip it around pretty quickly and tangle someone up in it. But
He like sits down and starts like sketching out a weapon on some parchment, and like he draws a flail with probably like a 2-foot long chain. Now this weapon is essentially a wooden like battle axe handle with a metal guard and a 2-foot long chain, and at the end of the chain is a spiked ball, a heavy spiked ball.
Mhm.
Now, do you want that? How heavy do you want that end piece to be? Do you want it to be spiked? How do you want this to function? Because
I think he wants a
currently
longer
what's going
chain, right?
Yeah, I
well,
think a bit.
well, normally a flail only has maybe a 6-inch to a foot long chain.
Yeah, but 2
So,
foot's
like-
not going to tie anybody up.
So you want
You
At
think
that
like
point,
a
that's
Manriki Gusari fighting chain
Yeah, something like that,
rather
right?
than like a flail.
Yeah, a kind of longer chain I think would be good. And instead of like a weighted ball on
so
the
you
end.
don't want something that has a handle.
Yeah, I don't think it needs a handle.
Got you.
It doesn't need a handle. And I think
So
on the end, a
He like
hook,
erases the hammer.
a hook with kind of like a
You want
spike, a spiky hooky thing.
You want Pike's bone cleaver, with a longer. You don't want you want that sort of like hook move, but with like a 6-foot chain.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but I
It's
like
correct.
it.
But that wasn't what you were thinking, but it is correct.
That is correct.
So that can be done.
You can also look up meteor hammer.
I am aware of media. The Manriki chain was new. I did not have that word in my lexicon. But I do know.
I feel like if this chain has some hooks on the end, it could be really
I don't
easy
think
to
that's
wrap
right.
around someone and hook them in this.
So you want it to be like a meat hook on the end, right? Is that what you want? Like a
kind of
fish hook on the end?
Yeah.
Less of the spiky point of pike, but more of a meat hook to like grab and pull.
Or like a ball with
know-
3 hooks coming out at different angles, right? So no matter which angle you're coming at them, you're hooking them like a fish lure.
Yeah. That's good.
Right. And what sort of, and then he turns to you and says, okay, what sort of enchantments do you want on this?
Ooh. Do you know an immovable rod?
I do. That's difficult to do with a chain weapon like this. The immovable aspect is usually built into the rod.
Well, I think the immovable part could just be on the hook end and the sort of handle end. Because after they're wrapped up, as long as the 2 ends are stuck, then the rest of the chain isn't really going to move.
You would have to, as separate actions, initiate those 2.
Using each one as a separate action.
Yes, as they would be essentially 2 immovable rods with a chain attached. What I could also do is, have you heard of a rope of entanglement?
Yes, I have. It has been my trusty companion up until this point.
Oh, you have one. If you would let me essentially consume that, I could put that enchantment into this weapon.
He just slurps it like spaghetti.
That sounds delightful.
That actually lowers the cost for you because it's easier on me to move enchantments than to build an enchantment from scratch.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yes, of course, of course. And just as one final question, do you think we could add some sort of serratedness to the chain itself?
Yeah, that's simple metalwork. That's simple metalwork right there.
The sheer act of trying to escape it,
That's some fine work that does raise the cost slightly. It'll take more time, but that easily done. Easily done. Is there any other enchantments you would like on this? I can. The best I can do is 3 enchantments stacked on it. They sort of, for each enchantment, it weakens the rest. But I can't. I have learned in my practices to get 3 enchantments on a weapon.
I think 2 would be fine here. Just the rope of entanglement, and then maybe just on the hook end, a immovable rod kind of thing.
Okay. I just ballparking. I think that would be, probably around 5,000 gold worth of work, based on just my time. For you, that's what, 500? That's 500 platinum.
Yeah.
500 platinum. All right.
Maybe just a tad more. Wouldn't exceed more than 6,000. But you don't have to pay the full amount until you come back. I do ask a 2,500 down payment for my work in case you never come back.
All right, 2,500 gold down payment.
Yeah, so that would, a quick discussion with Cindy out front, and that is just deducted from your thing. And when Urag is appraised of the situation, as he was out back doing his work, he didn't know about like the deals that were made. Essentially, it is just fully paid through your by just deducting it from the exactly. So you don't actually need to pay anything, Eddie. Once that is figured out. Clarny, you are absolutely enthralled by the Arcane Forge. There is no smoke. There's nowhere for the smoke to rise up. It's just magically the hottest flame you've ever seen. It's very impressive.
My jaw's been on the floor the whole time.
Right. Is there? I think Craig wants something from the guy now. Yeah?
Yes. I didn't get out very much in my day, but as far as I learned, there wasn't much enchantments that could be applied to ranged weapons aside from the average power boost.
I have learned how to turn arrows into elemental types. That's one of the few skills I've learned above my peers.
And you could imbue a bow with this ability?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. It's more the string than the bow itself.
And if the arrow was already magical, would that affect it?
It would. As long as it's not an elemental magic already.
Okay.
The elemental magics don't seem to stack, but if it's just a magical +1 arrow,
right?
I can do ice, fire, acid, thunder, and I've been attempting radiant. I cannot make any promises. The enchantment might be unstable in that case.
I'm drawn to fire, but also aware of its weaknesses. I think thunder would suffice.
Thunder, my personal favorite. I learned it from a smith out in the Stormlands. That would be a 500. And now that he knows the system, 500 platinum pieces to take your bow and the time necessary to enchant it.
Fabulous. And is it one shot, or is it every shot you take?
So no, it's going to be a probably some sort of like bonus action.
Okay.
To apply the enchantment for a minute to your string.
Cool. All
right. With probably like a resets at dawn.
Yeah.
Type
Sounds
beat.
great. Sounds awesome.
Where like for 1 minute, every shot you take will apply a D10 thunder damage.
Oh, extra or convert?
Yeah. No, on top.
Wow. Yeah.
Because you're still firing a metal arrow at somebody.
Right.
It doesn't like convert the arrow into a thunder arrow. It's just now like coursing with lightning and electricity. Boom. But it will have the caveat with the thunder of like the 100 or 300 foot
range of sound. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna danger close, everybody cover your ears. Bang, bang, bang. But if used correctly, you could like swat somebody's house. Like if you get the drop on, you could absolutely like flashbang somebody. Right. So that's that.
Did
anybody else?
Casey didn't get anything. He just talked to the guy.
Balantar also is like, the newest member of the squad and probably doesn't feel like he's earned any of this stuff. So you guys are going to have to be the ones to like, hey, bud, any of this interest you?
And at some point, Conversion will like look at him. You haven't picked anything out yet, have you?
Oh, well, I could do with, probably like regular half plate. I think that's it.
Did we already get the magical half plate?
I think somebody did, yeah.
The +1 that's there? No.
No? Okay, then that's still there. It's a mithril half plate +1.
Looks like there's only one option for you then. Go ahead and add that to the list.
Oh, thank you very much. That's all. Thank you.
Mithril mean no disadvantage on stealth?
Correct, I believe.
Nice.
It's light.
Nice.
Yep.
Would this?
It also has no strength requirement. Is the other thing.
Yes.
Would this blacksmith be the guy to talk to you about getting like a shield upgraded from just a base one? Yeah.
Yep. Yes, he is.
All right. Yeah, I have this baseline shield. Would you be able to upgrade it so it just protects better?
Yeah, of course. I can do up to a +2. +2s are very lengthy and costly to do. I do have the ability to enchant it in various ways. I've learned how to make animated shields and shields of arrow catching.
Now we'll have 2 of those. See, so all we have to do when we're fighting now is put one on one side, one on the other, and the arrows will just freeze.
And then
in place.
nobody can fire a ranged weapon ever again.
We're
Craig
screwed.
can sit there and cry.
We're just going to be neoing every single thing that gets shot.
How would that work?
If things
They
are
would stay back.
If
they are equally apart, if like it's equidistant, I would probably roll my like a D6 or something.
See which one gets pulled to.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 is one guy, 4, 5, 6 is the other.
We can set it up if we have enough. We can almost have like a rail gun where they just get pulled along this track of these and just shot super fast.
Yeah, if I DM'd that, I would leave them in stasis until one of them moved, and then the other one
somebody
gets
moved. Yeah.
Just slowly building up inertia.
But yeah, what do you
Cloud of arrows just sitting there, vibrating. It's people that shows are like, this is gonna hurt.
Every round of combat that they remain there, it increases. It exponentially increases its damage. After about 10 rounds of combat, it could annihilate Tiamat in a single shot.
This could kill God.
We've tricked the system,
one?
dude. Somebody
Yes.
needs to call the spiffing Brit or something.
I mean, when you say lengthy and expensive,
For a +2, it would take, you'd probably double the amount of time he'd be working on your stuff, and it'd cost 1,000 platinum. A +2 shield is uber. Like, +1 shields are already like, ooh, nice. I'm going to cherish this for the rest of my game. +2 shields.
+2 is even more.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll just take the +1 then.
All right.
I'll
Awesome,
need to break the bank.
Like 500 platinum. Yep.
Who has the other bag of holding? Is it Eddie? Is it just me and Eddie?
I've got one.
Conversion has one? Eddie has one too, though, right?
Eddie got one as a reward for, I think he got it as a reward for fighting 2 dudes alone.
So just above the table, I have 1750 in gold.
Well, you guys still have, you haven't even used half of your platinum yet. So,
Valentar does ask about, do people have magical weapons? That's the only thing I realized. Like, he probably wouldn't have asked, but I'll just kind of metagame it because it's gonna suck when we come up against a battle and doesn't have any.
I don't know if Eddie, with his new
Eddie
whip,
Eddie's got a
katana.
Yeah, I probably won't be using the katana as much.
But do you want to keep it? Do you want to keep it as something to stab somebody with?
Yeah, that's the thing. After someone's, tangled up,
I think Eddie should keep his
stab weapon.
Yeah, and I mean, you can get a +1 sword or weapon of choice.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for a whip.
I keep 4 extra hand crossbows at all time.
There is actually no whips. That is way too niche, especially for a forge smith.
Are they able to add a +1 to a whip if he has one?
Yes, he can.
Is that expensive?
It is, but you have a shit ton of money, so it's another 500 platinum.
Valentar looks to the group.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you no.
He doesn't need it. It could be like something more simple, like dagger or anything like that. So
It's fine.
This is fine.
It works.
All right. Okay. Anybody else got an order for Urag?
I want to clarify one thing, that the one end of the chain has a hook and the other one has kind of a loop on it. So
what do you mean by loop?
Just like a big metal circle.
Okay. Something that you could put your hand in, but also the hook could hook into.
Yeah. Exactly.
That sort
For
of
hog tying purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or long.
You guys spend like 20. Yeah, Eddie and Urag spend about 20 minutes as Eddie explains his fighting style to him. He summons clone Eddie at one point.
Practices on a training dummy a little.
Yeah.
This becomes an Iron Man style forging montage.
The last thing and this is me sort of metagaming, just because we've talked about it a lot and outside the game, David, and I just feel like you're forgetting it. Do you want to give the suit of armor you just bought to Urag to put a flame, a resistance to fire enchantment on it?
Oh, yes. You mean for Eddie? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Burb.
You take Burb. Yeah, I think you haven't named it.
Yep.
Just sort of for context. We we said earlier, we were playing Sea of Thieves, and he named his parrot in Sea of Thieves Eddie. So now me and David just sort of understand Eddie to be the parrot, and I've been struggling all game to separate that in my head. So Eddie the
you should
parrot.
name him David.
Yeah, David the parrot. It's David the parrot.
David the parrot.
Right. So I'm going to take another 250 gold for that. This is probably going to take the whole 2 weeks. All of this stuff, maybe even more. That you guys had paid, so you'll have to go pay the dockmaster again. Anybody else have anything else before I go to scrolls? So out of normal magical items, not magical scrolls and or weaponry, anybody got any last things?
No, I'm all set.
I think I'm covered.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, now we come to scrolls. I know Eddie wants some scrolls. Anybody else looking for spell scrolls of any type?
No.
Okay, Eddie,
Yes.
what kind of scrolls are you looking for? They
All right,
literally
so-
just about everything.
Eddie
Except
talks to the
high
scroll master.
levels.
All right.
That's you get sent up to Iknath, the very intimidating angel man.
Hello. It's nice to meet you. I'm
Hello.
Eddie. This is my parent David. So what I'm kind of looking for is I want to try and teach David to cast scroll, to cast spells from, because David is a parent. David can, do the verbal component of magic.
Mhm.
So I think, and he's probably clever enough, especially with some training, to teach him to cast some scrolls.
Mhm.
But I don't want to shove a scroll fireball right in front of him. Say,
I wouldn't either. Yes.
do it. Yeah, that seems a little dangerous, a little risky.
Seems a bit risky. Yes.
So I imagine that sometimes parents for a kid's birthday, especially if they're interested in magic, they might give them some fun little child's like magic scroll for children.
Mhm,
That
mhm. Those for the gifted.
flowers
Yes.
bloom. Yeah,
Scrolls for the gifted. Yes. Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
So I was hoping to pick up some of those for my turn here. Well,
one second. I mean, he's looking through a big catalog, flipping through pages.
There's a lot of scrolls here.
There is. Each one's. We need to really get a better catalog system. Each one's individually put down, not in sort of like X3 type stuff. I gotta get Cindy on this. Because I roll that you can't have cantrip scrolls, so we passed all of the cantrips. Right.
I don't think it needs to be like a real spell. It could literally just be make some small fireworks in the air.
Well, that
Or
would be
toast
prestidigitation.
for it.
That's kind of a thing. But what he does pull out is about 10 different scrolls of catapult. Now this is a very, very child-friendly to a degree. Very fun for the boisterous among them. Something to note, it only has somatic components. No verbal, so that wouldn't really meet the requirement. I will say I've known many an avian humanoid that's been able to do somatic components with their wings. That might be something to teach your bird. So we do have these that you could work on. I do have several cause fear spells. That's verbal only.
I think that could work quite well as parrots as their natural defense.
Wonderful. I have 5 of those you could practice with. So altogether, that's 15. Yeah, 5. So I from your platinum stock, I'd take 250 platinum from your stock for all of these scrolls.
Is that all right with everyone?
Absolutely not. Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The one time Tim Toothy speaks up.
No,
Right.
you
Okay.
cannot buy that pair of magic scrolls. What are you doing?
Right. Okay. So you now have 10 scrolls of catapult and 10 scrolls of cause fear.
All right.
Those are both spells. I think they're both. No, one of them's not in the PHB. No, they're both Xanathar spells actually. Just so you know, I can get you the wording on them if you need it. Right. Okay. Whew, right. Anything else? Anything else, everybody? Final call for arcane-minded shopping trip. And everybody leaves arcane-minded. Everybody saunters away. Either who wants the 5,500 platinum? Who's taking that? Who's pocketing that cheese?
So I would think somebody that has a bag of holding, so that way it's not super obvious, because I feel like that's how we get mugged.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna stick it in my bag of holding.
Awesome possum. Just want to make sure this. So it's 5,500 platinum. That's what is handed to you at the end of this. Right.
If you'd like,
at
we could
this-
stop and get some dried meats for the ship before we leave.
Provisions
Oh,
and
yeah.
such. Yeah.
I expect that we'll be restocking the ship, we've got a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We have quite a bit of things to take care of before.
So you guys reprovision the ship. Let's call it 10 platinum pieces to reprovision the ship fully. Do you guys plan on spending your evenings on the ship or in a tavern?
On the ship. For sure.
Okay.
I think that's best.
Yeah.
There's
Something
this
to note.
perfect Craig-shaped divot in the pillows in the crow's nest. That's you can't get better than that for meditating.
Something to note, when you guys make it back to the docks, there's a brief panic from everybody but Craig, probably, as your ship is not where you left it. Craig spots it down the way out of the main dock as you made it clear to the dockmaster that you guys would be staying for a while. There is just row upon row of about probably 24 ships that are pretty closely nested together on the far side of the docks. Just to keep these sort of main mercantile docks, and in case any sort of military excursion needs to be done in post haste.
We're not actively moving in or out, so they're getting us out of the way.
Exactly. And that had already been done. And the three men on the ship go, they used magic and floated the ship over there. I was terrified. The ship flew for about 10 minutes. I thought we were dead. Dead.
Dead.
Nice. Okay. So that is the first day in Solnar. We're going to take a break. That's a break.
Look at that lake on the map.
Yeah, it's just a big old lake. That's what the ocean is.
Yeah, it's an ocean.
No.
It's
I mean,
different.
I've
gone.
Hi. So, while everybody waits for their goods to be created from Urag and the Arcane Minded, we're going to do some time montages. I believe our boy Tim Toothy and Jelly probably are actually doing the classic Rocky montage. They're getting up, they're having raw eggs, they're running around the city, running upstairs, running downstairs. Am I wrong?
Straight up. No, straight up.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, they're getting beefed. They're juiced up. Every day they stop and have lunch with the gang at one of the many food tents, and they regale them of the things they see in the town. You do see, Tim Toothy, that this is a very diverse city. Very, very packed, but, you see just about every race. You even see some Arrowknee, which usually they die on sight. So it's very shocking to see them living.
Yeah. Do I see any kobolds?
You do. There is a couple kobolds. There's
I
even
like. Can I see if I'm related to any?
you aren't, sadly. These are from this continent. These
Damn
kobolds come from this continent.
Okay.
There are also some goblins with which Jelly also attempts to find out if they're from the Goblands, and they are actually not. They are from the Stormlands. But Convergent.
Mm-hmm.
You spend your time finding. It takes probably a couple days for you to find a chapel that you feel matches the vibe of your god. You do find a dusk god in the upper ward. Oh, jeez. In the upper ward, very dimly lit. Constantly, the inside looks as if it's twilight. Kind of a magical Hogwarts ceiling that constantly shows the twilight sky. And you can spend your time as much as you see fit in there. There are a bunch of other worshippers. They generally leave you alone. At one point, if you returned to there a few times, an elderly woman does come up and ask you where you're from and like your story. However, how much and how little you want to tell her is up to you.
Conversion will talk with her and not really hiding anything.
Yeah, wonderful. She seems very interested about your god, and she seems to take away the idea that and doesn't try to push it on you, but exposits the idea that I don't have a name for their god, but that their god has many faces, and that maybe yours is just another face, and that we all serve the twilight in the same fashion, and that is a wonderful interaction you have. Clarny and Carney to a degree. Conversion. Does Velran join you, or does Velran stay on the ship?
I'll say he'll go with me.
Wonderful, and he really enjoys the time in that chapel. He actually takes some time to talk to you about a god that isn't Lolth.
Sure.
In that space, as he is still a Lolth worshipping drow. It's hard to break that habit.
Yep.
Clarny and Carney, the Clown Bros.
What up?
What are you guys up to? You have 2 weeks of downtime.
We didn't get the battering ram, right?
No, you guys left the
Okay.
battering ram in that place.
Do we have enough materials, or do we have the means to get the materials cheaper and have me use my little forge magic and make us a battering ram?
I mean, spend 100 gold and you can make yourself a battering ram.
Would you guys want to do that? Because it
Yeah.
would probably take me some time, and it would save us some money going back to that guy.
Yeah.
And we would have it.
He wanted it for 25.
Yeah, but
You
his
said
was
I
just like
told-
a beat up old wooden one in the
It
field.
is. It is a beat up old, used battering ram, still splattered with blood, probably many splinters. Might be missing a few handles.
The
from
channel
men who
divinity
died on it.
actually says I can make a ram. Like that's one of the things it says as an
Yeah.
example. So I don't know. I want to make a ram.
Yeah.
Just to have.
I'll give you the
Easy-
100 gold personally.
Yeah. Easily done. Just you take the 100 gold, find the sort of like scrap metal and pieces of wood you need, and you take some time. You have Carney put all of the things in place on the. Where on the ship do you want to do it? Do you want to do it on the main deck? Do you want to do it on your like bottom sort of storage level?
Guys, is there a spot that we would like where it would be more convenient for us? I mean, just on the deck would be
I think
fine.
maybe tie it to the second mast when we're not using it.
There you go.
There you go.
Have
So
a few different
on the
uses, yeah.
top deck. So on the top deck, this is done. Carney puts all of the pieces together, and Clarney uses his channel divinity. And anybody who's on the ship at that time hears the sound of a loud hammer hitting an anvil as a ram is formed on the deck of the ship.
Nice.
Yeah.
Its head is not a ram's head, but a dwarven face with a beard.
That's creepy.
Even better.
Yeah.
A dwarven face going grrr.
Yeah. Very intimidating.
I would proposition Eddie to be a street urchin with me.
Eddie is down to clown.
Okay. Eddie, how much time do you want to do that, and how much time do you want to spend training your parrot? Or do you want to wait on training your parrot?
I don't want to teach my parrot magic right now.
Okay.
I would like to be an urchin on the street and
got
just work on some communication and bonding with the parrot.
You got it. Easily done.
I think we're working on coming back to me, flying somewhere.
Okay. Before we get to that, Narvos, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
What are you up to?
I think just kind of helping out around the ship.
Sticking on the ship. You got it.
Since if I'm going in the city, since I've been in the city before, I kind of know what places to avoid if I'm trying to not be noticed.
Yep. You kind of stick to a route of ship to the food market, back to the ship, to have meals with your friends.
Yeah.
Right, and then Balantar.
Balantar's just helping out with whatever the winged magic user dude needs.
All right, so you take some time and you go to Icknath, and you. How would you like to plead your case to Icknath to become a sort of like not a servant boy, but a cleaning boy in his
He's so. I'm gonna do my best to give you the 9 charisma that he has. He's very what would I want to say? Forthwith, like loyal, like as in he's devoting himself, but he's not, putting it in so many words. He's not doing it eloquently, so he's kind of like talking about, what do you need me to do? I'll do anything for you, and I'm just not strong, but I can still move anything that's large or smaller a couple times per day.
Are you upfront with the idea that you're doing this so that he will write a letter of recommendation?
Oh yeah.
Okay. It takes probably a day. He probably shuns you the first day, and when you come back the second day, he probably sends you away. And then halfway through that second day, Cindy appears at the boat and is like, Icknath would like you to come and help. He has had a change of heart. You seem persistent, and he likes that in you. And you follow Cindy back, and essentially you work with Cindy and not Icknath. You find out that Icknath is pretty much a recluse, rarely comes out. He seems to actually have a preternatural ability to be on that balcony whenever anybody walks into the building. But you begin your essentially work study in Arcane Minded. And then Eddie and Craig. Craig, you begin working your way as an urchin through the housing district, slowly but surely. It takes the better part of a week and a half before you make any progress. You spend many days as a poor urchin in the streets of Solnar.
I do want to say I have this new trick where I do mage hand with my flies, and then I turn into a scorpion. And then I just fly around.
Neat.
Yeah.
You do spook several people with that move. Flying scorpions, generally scary. But what you do learn is that the people of Solnar don't really help the homeless. The sort of rank and file of the city push past and just ignore you. Who does come help you are these halfling Aasimar, who you quickly realize are part of House Ophelia. And you are fed daily by a handful of halfling Aasimar who bring you cheese and bread if they spot you. Like if they spot you in the street, you're brought cheese and bread. And
I tend to eat it.
They point you in the direction of housing that you could go to at night. And, you see a couple of the same ones throughout the day. And you just kind of have the realization that there is somebody looking out for the homeless and the poor of the city. And it is this one of the 5 great houses, which you, as somebody coming from the Elysian Empire, both of you coming from the Elysian Empire, are genuinely surprised by. Towards the end of this 2-week stint, with your just sort of a mixture of Eddie's charisma and your perception and investigations, time is on your side, and you do find a false door that leads to an entrance that you slowly creak open, this wooden door, and on the inside is I believe it's a 4x4 room. Maybe it's a 3x4 room. So that'd be 15 by 20 feet. I was speaking in not actual
squares,
feet, but like squares. Yeah. With a guard statue on the far side that the sunlight hits, with his eyes open and a lit lantern in front of him and a door without a handle on it to the side of him. And there is in thieves' cant above the guard that the door will never open while the guard watches.
Mm.
And you kind of go, yep, this is it, and shut the door.
Shut the door, blow out the lantern.
No, the lantern's on the far side of the room.
Okay.
It's all the way over there. So you just kind of go, yep, this is where my friends need to go. Yep, shuts the door. We did it, Eddie. Thumbs up. We can stop being urchins now.
Finally.
That was great bonding time.
This has been about
urchins.
Yeah, this has been about 10 days of you two being urchins. David the parrot is very scummy. He's more brown than red at this point.
I sneak him lots of crackers through this experience.
I have good
he's
berries.
He's scummy, but he's well fed.
He is. He's actually gained maybe a couple ounces.
He's a thick parrot.
I actually the whole 10 days I was sneaking good berries into other homeless people's pockets.
Wonderful. And with your sleight of hand, you're almost never caught. Few times an elderly woman noticed you and with a twinkle in her eye would give you a wink.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a sort of matron of the homeless. But that is that. Is there anything else anybody would like to do tonight before we wrap this up? Any final things?
Combat next Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for this last thing, we'll have everybody gathers back at Arcane Minded at the end of the 2 weeks. An Urag with a bag of holding filled with all of your things comes out to the front and hands you all your items because it was a wonder and a pleasure making all of these for you. If you ever need anything else, you have very ingenuitive minds. I'd love to work with you all again. What is your adventuring group called?
curiosity.
Well, very apropos. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, Valentar, it's been wonderful working with you these past few weeks. If you could clean up my forge for me again before you leave, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, he does.
And that is where we will call tonight's episode. So everybody gets your stuff that you ordered from Urag, just so that I don't forget to hand it out at the beginning of next game. So everybody mark that down yourself. And good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Like, subscribe, Patreon.
Yeah, that.
Good night, everybody.